You know that feeling, right? Like you're driving with the parking brake on. You're pushing the pedal to the floor, you're doing all the right things, but you just keep hitting these invisible ceilings. You get that burst of motivation, things are great for a week, and then, poof, the inevitable snapback happens. You're right back where you started. It's so frustrating, and it can make you feel like you're broken. But what if the problem isn't you? What if it's just your programming?
Okay, let's just start with this powerful idea right here. This quote, it just flips the whole problem on its head. It suggests your struggles, they aren't some kind of character flaw. Nope. They're the result of faulty code, a kind of mental malware running in the background of your mind, crashing your system every single time you try to level up.
So first things first, let's run a diagnosis. We've got to look at your brain's hidden operating system. Because think about it, if your computer keeps crashing, you don't just yell at it to try harder, you check the software. So let's get under the hood and see what's really calling the shots.
Just look at this slide. This shows the insane imbalance of power we're up against. We spend all our time and energy trying to change our lives with that little 5%, our conscious mind. Willpower, logic, setting goals. But we're picking a fight with the other 95%, the subconscious autopilot that's in charge of our emotions and our core identity. The source material puts it perfectly. Willpower is like a battery, but the subconscious, that's a nuclear reactor. It's a war you just cannot win with brute force alone.
But here's the thing, that massive 95% isn't evil. It's not actually trying to sabotage you. It's trying to protect you using scripts that were installed way back when you were a kid. A survival program that once told you, hey, stay small, stay quiet, stay safe, is now clashing with your adult ambition to be big, loud, and successful. The system isn't sabotaging you. It's just running an old, outdated protection protocol.
So how does this outdated protection actually work? Well, it usually runs on one of three main malware scripts. Once you can identify which one is active in your own head, you can find the root cause of all those self-defeating behaviors.
First up, you've got the fear script. Its code basically says that anything new, a sales call, a public speech, is a life-threatening danger, and its output is procrastination. Then there's the scarcity script, which is constantly telling you there isn't enough to go around, causing you to hoard money, information, even emotions. And finally, the comparison script. This one makes you believe your worth is tied to being better than everyone else, which just leads to constant envy and feeling like a total fraud. Do any of those sound a little too familiar?
And this brings us to the biggest obstacle of all, the failure mechanism. It's why even when we know what to do, we always seem to snap back. It's because your brain literally has an immune system that treats success like a virus, attacking anything that threatens your current identity.
The best way to think about it is like a thermostat. The scientific term is homeostasis. Your brain has a normal setting for pretty much everything: your income, your weight, your relationships. Let's say your financial thermostat is set to 68 degrees. If you suddenly land a huge promotion and the temperature of your life shoots up to 75, your brain's internal alarm goes off. Alert! Deviation detected, and it immediately kicks on the air conditioner to cool you right back down to your normal 68.
And this snapback, it happens in a totally predictable three-stage loop. First, growth creates this feeling called cognitive dissonance. It's that anxiety you feel when you're acting outside your identity. Second, to get rid of that uncomfortable feeling, your brain creates a brilliant excuse, a defensive rationalization to get you to stop. I'll start on Monday, or I've been so good I deserve a break. And third, once you quit, you use that failure to entrench the old belief. See, I told you I just don't have any willpower. It's a perfect closed loop of self-sabotage.
Okay, so that's the diagnosis. That's the problem. Now let's talk about the solution. Time for the debug. Step 1 is you have to audit your map, because you can't rewrite your code until you've actually read it.
This idea from Alfred Korzybski is absolutely fundamental. We go through our lives thinking the problem is reality, the economy, the mountain, other people, but the source argues the real problem is that we're navigating life with a flawed map that was drawn by a scared kid. We're yelling at the ravine because our map says there should be a bridge there, instead of just accepting that the map is wrong.
Now, to make sure reality always seems to match its flawed map, your brain uses 3 sneaky filters. First, it just deletes evidence that contradicts your beliefs, like conveniently ignoring all your successes if you secretly believe you're an imposter. Second, it generalizes one bad experience into a universal law, like deciding all relationships end in pain. And third, it distorts neutral data to confirm a threat, like assuming 2 people whispering across the room must be judging you.
And this all leads to a massive, powerful reframe. Stop trying to defend your limiting beliefs just because you think they're true.
A map isn't meant to be true, it's meant to be useful. Think about it. A subway map is a complete lie. It totally distorts distances and ignores all the streets above ground, but it's incredibly useful for getting around the city. So is your belief that money is hard to make a useful map for building wealth? If not, it's time to get a new one.
All right, once you've audited your old, unuseful map, it's time for step 2, rehearsal. We're going to use what's called the theater of the mind to install your new identity, turning your imagination into a legitimate tool for neurological programming.
Now, this isn't some pie-in-the-sky idea. This is grounded in real neuroscience. When a concert pianist just imagines playing a piece, the same parts of their brain light up on an fMRI scan as when they're actually playing it. What does that mean? It means to your nervous system, a vivid, sensory-rich mental rehearsal isn't fake. It's practice. It's real data that's building the neural architecture for your future self.
And hey, if you're sitting there thinking, oh, I'm bad at visualization, I've got news for you. You're not. You do it all the time. It's called worrying. When you worry, you are meticulously, vividly, and emotionally rehearsing the exact future you don't want. The hardware works perfectly. You just need to change the movie that's playing from a horror film to a hero's journey.
So here's the actual protocol. First, define the new you, your avatar. Get super detailed. How do they stand? What's their core belief? Second, pick a specific real-life scene to rehearse, like an upcoming meeting or a difficult conversation. Third, load that scene with sensory data. What do you see, hear, feel to make it real for your brain? And crucially, step 4, you have to feel the emotion of victory now, before the event ever happens. It's that combination of a clear intention with an elevated emotion that actually rewires the brain.
And that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle. Step 3, vote with action. This is what bridges all that internal work with the external world. The script is written in your mind, but the movie is shot out here, in reality. And every single action you take is a vote for the person you are becoming. See, your identity isn't some mystical, fuzzy concept. It's just math. As the slide says, it is simply the sum total of your actions. Action is the only truth. We like to judge ourselves by our good intentions, but the world and our own nervous system judges us by our behavior. Every single action is data that either reinforces the old you or builds the new one.
And these votes, they don't have to be massive, monumental changes. They can be as small as keeping one tiny promise to yourself, like actually getting up without hitting the snooze button. It's choosing to respond calmly instead of reacting emotionally. It's doing one small thing your ideal self would do. These little micro-behaviors, when they compound over time, are what truly forge a new identity.
And really, this is the whole game right here. Most self-help focuses on changing behavior, but that's just like trying to update the apps on a computer that has a buggy operating system. The apps are just going to keep crashing. The real leverage, the real power, comes from going deeper and rewriting the operating system itself, your core identity. Because when you change who you are, what you do changes automatically. And that brings us to the end. So now you get it. You understand the hidden operating system, the malware scripts it's been running, and the failure mechanism that protects it all. But you also have the 3-step protocol to rewrite the entire system. That old program, it's still running on autopilot, but now you have root access. The only question left is, will you use it?